I think we all like the sandbox idea. I do think ultimately universe mode needs to be there. And I think it would do better, perform better being there than not being there. If you take out universe mode, then what are we doing? Like, what are we going to have? So I think they will keep universe mode. I think it's a win ultimately for players to be able to have that sandbox to create AEW shows, WWE, Attitude, or whatever you want to do. Customize the way you want, do whatever you want. The thing is, though, is that it's getting stale and old and feels a little bit more hollow because we've had it for so many years, not to mention the bugs. When the game launched, we had a terrible amount of bugs. And yes, there's still big issues. I'm not seeing a ton of crashes in universe mode, still getting crashes, but there are bugs. When I look at, for example, just the calendar, I want, number one, for me, I want to start a new universe with the option to toggle blank universe calendar, blank calendar, or preload it. I want that. If you're going to give me this superstar mode on and off thing, the least you could do is that when I'm going to say start a new universe, have a pop-up menu that just says, do you want to start a brand new universe mode with a blank canvas, or do you want to set it up with an existing show, just like it does here with Raw and SmackDown and NXT and the pay-per-views? I get so annoyed because we played universe mode for years now. How many of us immediately jump into a new universe and delete the show and delete the pay-per-views and change out Raw, and we modify it all because that's what we want to do. It's really irritating to have to go in and be like, okay, I gotta reset everything to 0 because I'm trying to create AEW universe mode, or I'm trying to create it where I just have Raw and Nitro, whatever, right? I want that, number one, to be done. I think that is a relatively easy fix for the mode. I think that when it comes to, say, news and updates, I mean, there's a lot to fix in universe mode, but this is getting old. Like this whole, it's fine to have the news updates, but how many of us are going in here and looking at this going like, oh, wow, cool, this started. It's like, yeah, okay, these are rivals, but who cares? Like, it doesn't have a lasting impact on it. We have the historical stats. Again, they will keep all of this stuff in here, but I want to see something new when it's going to impact this. Why do I care about these menus, these sub menus of the news and so on? I think one easy thing to do is, maybe it's not easy, but I really wish that universe mode would allow us, if you're going to keep my GM, I wish that universe mode would allow us the ability to incorporate a draft. Give me a draft. Give me the option to toggle draft on or off. Do I want to set up a new draft? Yes. And let's do a proper draft. You could just copy and paste it from my GM if they want to, but incorporate a draft in here. Makes it more fun. Give me the options to set up a draft when I feel like setting up the draft in my universe mode, so that I'm not confined to say the first show has to be a draft. You could do that, but you could also just change it up a little bit. Like show details, I'm like, okay, I got no problems there. Match tables needs a refresh. Match tables are cool. I don't think enough players, to me, mess around with this enough, because they can do a lot to be able to change how you want a pay-per-view to set up for the percentage of like how you want like a singles match versus a tag team match and so on. But I go in here more often now with longer universes that I set up, and I change these to be like, yeah, I only want like 2 of these. Like I only want 1 tag match. I want more triple threats. And what do you want to main event? I always want to main event that and a championship or not. Like that's cool. I like all of that. I don't know, synergy between shows. Like if I have Roman Reigns as my champion, but he's my champ on Raw and SmackDown, like in real life, I wish that you could set up almost having rivalries on both brands with the 1 star. I know they gray it out, but it'd be nice if they could be in multiple feuds. I think that rivalries needs to be improved. I don't think it hasn't been touched in a long time. Like, okay, we went from, over the years, we've gone from 3 rivalries to 4. And having rivalries is cool. And then potential rivalries, if we have that on or off, that's good. You need to have 1 more rivalry, in my opinion. Set it up to 5, because we typically have like 5 titles, maybe. So it allows the opportunity to have like all your titles in rivalries. I think you should do 5. I think you should also 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, triple threat, fatal 4-way rivalry, and cutscenes associated with all of them. Nothing crazy, but I feel that nowadays, because of the way WWE programming is, if they want to stay a little bit more current, up to date, at the very least, make this 1-on-1 rivalry, a 2-on-2, or a 3-on-3. So it's factions versus factions, because factions are huge now, which is great. Long, medium, short, fine. And then the intensity, that's got to be tweaked because we need more stories and we need more cutscenes. I think it was 2K18, 19, I can't remember. One of them, though, Paul Heyman did an interview regarding the game. Maybe it was 2K. Which one was when Brock was on the cover? Was that 17 or 18? I think it might have been for that year. I don't know. Paul Heyman did an interview surrounding the game, and he was hyping up how there's going to be more cutscenes and more story elements in universe mode. And okay, cool. Thank you guys. I don't know if it was for that year's game. I just think because of Brock and Heyman. And he was saying how we need more cutscenes. There's going to be more cutscenes and there's going to be more story elements. And he was like hyping it up and talking like when you play universe mode, you are going to get way more stories built in there. And I was really excited for that because the way he hyped it up, and good for him. And it wasn't. It was still, it was to the point where I was like, where are these additional like 100 cutscenes that they were hyping up so much? And they talked about how there's going to be so much more cutscenes throughout that are going to be unique and storytelling. They really need to do that. If you want to revitalize universe mode, put more in there for unique story elements, and give players the options for what stories we want to tell. Buddy says it too, and this has come up countless times. We don't have promos. They took out promos in universe mode. Why? Promos I was never even that big of a fan of, but have it in there. What's the harm? Put the promos in there. We have promo segments on TV. You're recreating the televised product. You just want to be able to change and tweak what the promos are and modernize it a bit, but allow it to be like the tag team champs or the trios are coming out, the factions coming out, and they're challenging X, Y, and Z star. Just update those little cutscenes during promos and allow the user to say, do I want them to be like just talking on the ramp, back and forth, talking segment? Do I want to have a post-promo beatdown? Who does it? It's like what GM mode does, where it's like select interference. Yes. Who do you want the interference on? Champion or challenger? You could do that with promos and simplify it, but it creates more story arcs in there. So promos for sure need to be added back in. Those are little things that 2K can do that would be good things for the community, and people I think would go, okay, cool, they did this. That's really awesome. They did it for fans. The news element, again, they need to just make it matter. It's got to matter. Like, you can't just have news where it's going to be like, okay, they're rivals. The fallout of the match, fine. But talk about like who's rising up the ranks. Power ranking, right? Remember that? Cash-ins. Cash-ins needs to be fixed in 2K in general. But 2K22's issue around cashing in the title, man, is it annoying and broken in many regards. I turn off letting the AI cash in when they want to. I don't have enough control over doing Money in the Bank cash-ins. The Money in the Bank pay-per-views when we do ladder matches doesn't always work because the ladder matches are not even set up, even though I have Money in the Bank on both brands, or for men and women, excuse me. I need that fix too. That has been years for trying to get them to fix the cash-in element. Either get rid of it or make it work better. Rivalry system, again, I think ties into promos. They need to do better when it comes to the promos. They need to have promos, excuse me. The cutscenes is what I'm saying. They need to have the cutscenes tie into the rivalries more, and just fresh coat of paint. Frankly, this is all fine. The other thing is being able to set up pay-per-views on Saturdays. WWE is now, and I think they will do this because of the timeline of development. I think now they're going to say, add a show, and it's going to be major, minor, or pay-per-view, or premium live event. because WrestleMania is a 2-day event. All the big pay-per-views are 2-day events. Or excuse me, WrestleMania is a 2-day event. The rest of them are now officially, according to WWE, yes, they are officially Saturdays. So they got to change that for sure. If they don't, then they are way, way behind. Just little things, ladies and gentlemen. Just some little fixes, little tweaks here and there that we need to be fixed.